Hello, I'm the Showpa guy, and today I want to talk about long Yu-Gi-Oh turns. A common complaint about Yu-Gi-Oh is that turns take way too long. It's often mentioned by both new and returning players that when they try to get back into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, they end up playing against some combo player who takes 10 minutes to finish their turn. Then they make this near unstoppable board and you end up losing.
Do you know what that's called? That is called gameplay.
It's often said that more experienced duelists will take 10 minutes to finish their turn. While that is completely invalid, something that cannot be invalidated is how a person feels.
We all have seen the, person who tries to get into the game and they just find themselves really overwhelmed.
Right? There's so many cards where it's like, oh, I've made this board, I automatically win. It's more than just this. There's so many decks that can open up like this dirty board where it's like I negate like 2 to 3.
The same way someone would say, this line is taking forever, or I've been here for eternity, or this is a piece of cake, is not meant to be taken literally, just like how a player takes a whole 10 minutes to finish a turn. Most Yu-Gi-Oh turns take about 3 to 5 minutes to finish, so how come new players or returning players think that these turns take way too long and misconstrue 10 minutes for 5 minutes?
Deck to my hand 3 cards from this one effect alone. They're all activating. I choose another junk synchron card plus another card. We're not done quite yet. All right, I special summon from my hand onto the field. Since I summoned another turn, I choose another synchron carrier in defense position. So instead of using him, I'll activate.
Do you remember in school when you would look up at a clock and there was 5 minutes left in class, but for some reason, as you look at the clock feels like it's going slower and slower than usual? Depending on if you're doing something, your perception of time differs. In Yu-Gi-Oh, if you don't have any plays and it is your opponent's turn, you can't really do anything but sit still. In a time where we can get instant gratification at the palm of our fingertips, it is difficult for many people to just stand still and watch, especially if you're watching something that you cannot grasp or understand. There is a reason why if you watch something you're interested in, like your favorite show, movie, video, or a game for 10 minutes, you feel more stimulated and you don't get bored, in contrast to watching another person essentially play with themselves in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Herald of the Arcanation from the graveyard. Any monsters, 2 monsters, or card at all. I have 2 drops. I might not.
Is this guy done yet? Can I play Yu-Gi-Oh yet? He's just been rolling dice. It didn't even occur to me. He's just been playing by himself.
Experienced players like myself have been conditioned to wait periods of time for our opponents. Streamers, if they don't have a play to make, can talk to their audience. On Masterduels, some players just watch a quick YouTube video, message their friends, or just surf the internet until it gets back to their turn. I remembered playing a duel against someone, I was going first, and after just 30 seconds, my opponent started yawning and said that my turn was taking way too long. Just 30 seconds. Sorry, but duelists are not purposely trying to have long turns. The game has just evolved to the point that we are trying to cram in as many plays as we can before the time runs out. If you are a new or returning player, here are a couple things you can do. You can play more hand traps. So instead of just watching your opponent make plays, you get the chance to respond to your opponent's plays, so you can feel like you're more engaged during your opponent's turn. If you don't know what hand traps to use, cards like Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, Infinite Permanence, Ghost Ogre, and Nibiru are powerful hand trap cards that you can use that, if timed correctly, can put a halt in your opponent's plays. If you are playing against a combo deck that you are unfamiliar with, even though it may seem overwhelming, simply watching your opponent, asking questions, and reading cards is a good way to be more informed of the deck. Often in Yu-Gi-Oh, you'll play against a certain type of deck multiple times, so if you're going to play the same deck over and over and over again, you might as well study up on what that deck does. If you're playing a simulator and you already have a good idea on what kind of end board that specific deck is going to make, then you can keep your mind busy and just do something else until the turn ends. If you play against a certain deck enough times, you kind of have a good idea on what to expect when they finish. Now, you should still pay attention though, but it's understandable as to why your mind just wanders off after getting a good idea on what their plays are going to look like in a couple minutes. Can we please move on from branded? Yu-Gi-Oh is at its best when you get back and forth gameplay. While that still happens, there are also plenty of times where you just have to sit down and stare at your opponent. The best way to get around that is either by playing a retro format like the 2010 Edison format, or by making your own personal adjustments. Thank you for watching the video. That is about it. I am the Showpa guy. Feel free to hit like and subscribe if you want to. You don't have to do so. Really cool if you did. And so once again, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.